2025 just got even crazier, part 4. Firstly, in Poland, 240 mines were accidentally sent to an IKEA, and apparently the mishap only came to light when the IKEA store called the military to ask when they were going to pick up these mines from their IKEA warehouse. From this, an army general was fired for losing these mines. Next, we all know about this TikTok ban that is happening. Well, it's kind of backfiring, because thousands and thousands of TikTok users are switching to the Chinese app RedNote, and from this, Duolingo has seen a 216% spike in users in the US learning Mandarin. Finally, stealing has got so bad in some areas, some stores are starting to literally lock up everything, like regular items like chips. So now, you literally have to get an employee just to get a chip bag.
Crazy history you were not taught in school. 4 countries tried to claim a new island in the Mediterranean that ended up disappearing again only 6 months later. The first female US senator was also the last congressperson to own slaves. Babyface Nelson ended the lives of more FBI agents than any other criminal in history. For 3 days in 1924, all radio stations went quiet for 5 minutes on the hour, every hour, to listen to messages from aliens, but none were ever detected. The Vatican sent an investigator to determine if Shirley Temple was a 30-year-old posing as a child. There used to be fat men clubs that only let people over 200 pounds in. These clubs declined in popularity as obesity became viewed unfavorably. Before the 1900s, there was a long S character that designated the presence of 2 S's in a row as seen here on the Bill of Rights. During a recent expedition to find the Loch Ness Monster, a 30-foot model of it was found at the bottom of Loch Ness, which happened to be a lost prop from a 1970s movie.
This is 14-year-old Kalea Turner, and after more than a year of being bullied at school, she attempted to end her own life. She died for 8 minutes before paramedics were able to revive her. However, she suffered severe brain damage and remained in a coma for weeks. And according to a new lawsuit filed this month by the girl's family, while Kalea was in a coma, one of the bullies allegedly made their way inside the ICU and took multiple photos of her while incubated and posted these pictures on social media, spreading rumors about her injuries. The parents claim that the school failed to protect her, failed to intervene, and didn't take proper action even after the bullying was reported multiple times. And because Kalea has been left with potentially permanent disabilities, they are now suing the district and faculty to cover Kalea's medical bills, the parents' lost wages while taking care of her, her disability care, and much more. The school has denied the allegations and claimed that its staff took the appropriate steps when dealing with any bullying incidents.
Terrifying games you shouldn't play, part 9. The Answer Man game. If you win this game, any questions you might have in life will be answered correctly. But if you play it incorrectly, you'll lose more than just the game. To play this game, you'll need to gather 10 of your friends and have them stand in a loose circle. Each person should pull out their cell phone and call the person to their left at the same time. At this point, one of 2 things will happen. Either all of the phones will go to voicemail, in which case you'll have to try again, or one of the phones will get an answer. The person on the other end of the phone is the mysterious Answer Man. He will answer any questions you have in life correctly, but be warned. For every question you ask him, he will ask you a question as well, and you have to answer truthfully or you'll lose the game. If you cannot answer one of his questions truthfully, he will come for you within the next couple of days and collect his payment in flesh instead. In order to end the game, you must repeat that it is time for the Answer Man to go until he finally hangs up the phone. He will try to argue with you and even offer you bribes to let him stay on the call, but you must stay strong. It's also recommended you destroy the phones after the game. Comment whether or not you would play this game, and follow for more.
Elephants do think you're cute. I was wrong. Okay, not like this. This is still mostly made up, but let me explain, because I low-key gotta hold that one. So you know how humans are the smartest things alive, but because the learning curve is so high, our babies have the self-preservation of a kumquat. It's kind of the same thing with baby elephants. If ignorance is bliss, premature pachyderm live in euphoria. One of the biggest threats to a baby elephant is them literally getting distracted, wandering away, and then losing their mothers forever. Animals use play as preparation for the life they'll live, and it's proven that elephants that play the most as babies have a better chance at life as adults. That's why you'll see these videos of elephants chasing around birds birds or playing tag with dogs, they're literally wired to be playful. So when they see a human, they often just see another thing they can play with, and since humans aren't usually afraid of a baby elephant, a lot of times they figure out humans give them the best response. So it's not really that elephants think we're cute, it's that baby elephants think everything's cute, including humans. And I wouldn't believe that if I didn't meet a baby elephant myself, and to say she single-handedly hiked my health insurance would be an understatement. What they don't tell you is a baby elephant finding you cute means a car-sized Saint Bernard trying to tackle you. She did not know her own strength. They even warn you not to play with her for your own good, because if you do, she'll get excited. And fun fact, when baby elephants get excited, they make noise. And that noise is like a Batman signal to a literal big mama. And as cute as you may be, best believe she will not agree. So a baby elephant will really have you running for your health in the best way possible. If you want to see a video of that happening, or you just want to keep up with me in general in case this app does become past tense, Casual Geographic on YT. Appreciate y'all. The more you know. No, but like seriously, don't play with a baby elephant. Whatever it is, they'll break it and take it.
Yo, what's up? Here's some scary facts about our world that you probably didn't want to know. Part 41. There's actually something called anesthesia awareness, and I'm not talking about waking up during surgery. I'm talking about you are awake during surgery, but the surgeons can't tell because you can't move your mouth, and you can't move your eyes. So you know what's going on, but they don't. So in the event that your plane actually crashes into an ocean somewhere, flight attendants are specifically asked not to pull dead bodies onto the lifeboat. So if your child, your spouse, or one of your friends dies, you're just gonna have to, kick the body overboard. So aside from the fact that if you're decapitated, your head can move for a certain amount of time off your body, humans can actually live skinned alive for 6 days. 4 if you want to add salt. If you've somehow gotten that situation. And lastly, there's something called a rat king, and it's not a massive rat. It's just a bunch of rats come together with dirt, blood, hair, tails. Ugh.
Now this is truly disturbing footage. Watch as Bianca Ellis, a killer, stalks a mother and her young child as they walk out of a grocery store. Notice how Bianca is carrying a knife with her. You won't even believe what happens next. The woman in that video was 32-year-old Bianca Devins. And after she walked off camera in that video, she stabbed the 3-year-old child to death and also stabbed the child's mother, Margot. The victim, 3-year-old Julian Wood, was a normal boy. And according to everyone reporting on this case, he and his mother had no connection to Bianca whatsoever. This was a completely random act of violence. Bianca can be seen in that extended security camera footage brandishing a knife while walking around the store, scoping out potential victims. And then, like I showed you at the beginning, towards the end, she identifies the mother and her son for some reason and follows them out to the parking lot where she stabbed them. Disturbingly, in a recent court appearance, Bianca can actually be seen smiling, laughing, and giggling as charges of murder are read against her. And like I said before, it's unknown why she carried out this attack, and prosecutors right now are saying this was a completely random act of violence. I'm going to keep you guys updated on the story here, but if you want to hear more true crime stories, listen to the podcast that I co-host with my wife Courtney, Murder in America. It's available on all streaming platforms.
Crazy things happening in the world right now. A boss let go of a member of his staff because she came back from maternity leave pregnant again. A recall has been issued after Minute Maid sold zero sugar lemonade that contained 40 grams of sugar. This is the most recent and clearest image of Mars that we have. And this is the most recent image of Earth that we have. For the first time in recorded history, which is 130 years, there was no snow on Mount Fuji in November. A 1,000-pound tuna was caught in New Hampshire. Snoop Dogg has confirmed that he has a staff member that makes sure that everyone else doesn't get too high while they're smoking. A man who won an $11 million lottery says he now feels regret for buying houses for his friends that he is no longer in contact with. A popular flat earther YouTuber admitted he was wrong after taking a trip to Antarctica to test the theory of flat Earth. An Italian nun was arrested over strong links to a powerful mafia network.
Because X died 4 years ago on this very day, let's take a second to remember some of his last words. On June 18th, 2018, X went to an ATM to withdraw some cash. As X started driving away, a black SUV started to follow him all the way to a nearby motorsports shop. So X went inside the shop, and after a few hours, he noticed that the black SUV was still in the parking lot. 2 men hopped out of the SUV and demanded that X give them his car. As X tried to fight back, he was shot in the neck 3 3 times. Witnesses claim his last words were something like, "What the F is going on?" but his last verified words were these.
I've gone through my fair share of destruction and pain in the process to get where I've gotten, and anything is possible. If I'm gonna die or ever be a sacrifice, I want to make sure that my life made at least 5 million kids happy, or they found some sort of answers or resolve in my life. Your mind is limitless. You are worth more than you could believe. All you have to do is dream, and all you have to do is want to fulfill that dream and have the strength to fulfill that.
How old were you when you realized that shopping carts are the ultimate test of the goodness of mankind? We can all agree that putting your cart away when you're done shopping is the socially and morally correct thing for anyone to do. It's easy, it's convenient, and it's a task that pretty much every human on earth is physically capable of. It is the objectively right thing that anyone should do under any circumstance, save the extremely rare urgent emergency. At the same time, it's not a law or even an enforced rule that people must follow. In this sense, the shopping cart is the pinnacle litmus test as to whether someone will do the right thing without being forced to do it. We don't get punished, fined, or hurt for not putting it away, but we also don't get rewarded for doing so. We simply must return the shopping cart out of the goodness of our hearts because it is the morally right thing to do. Anyone who doesn't is technically no better than a savage animal who can only be made to do what is right no matter how easy and convenient it is by threatening them with punishment. Therefore, the shopping cart is the ultimate determination of universal morality, whether a person is a good or bad member of society, so be a good person.
Here's a test to see if you or someone you know has thalassophobia. Thalassophobia is the fear of deep or open water. At level 1, we have this image, and if you look below the baby's feet, you'll realize that you can see nothing. That's what freaks people out, that you can't see anything down there, but there's a feeling like something's watching you from below. If this is making you feel unsettled, don't watch the rest, because level 2 is even worse. At level 2, we have a person falling into an expansive open body of water. To make it even worse, there's a squid-like creature hiding in the corner. At level 3, we have the worst one yet, and it's a person swimming above a gigantic snake-like creature in the water, and we have no idea how big it is. And if you made it this far, level 4, the bonus is this creature. This photo honestly just makes me want to cry. If you survived all the levels, congrats. Make sure you send this video to a friend to see if they can pass the test and follow for more.
This here is Nigel Richards, and he decides to compete in a Spanish Scrabble competition. He doesn't speak Spanish. Let me explain. So Nigel's known for being a professional player at Scrabble. Yes, you heard me, Scrabble. He's so good at it that he holds 5 English world titles. But for Nigel, having titles to back up his family game night skills wasn't enough, and he wanted to compete in another competition. This time in Spanish, except he doesn't know the language. So he spends the next year memorizing the Spanish word list for Scrabble. Thankfully for him, he manages to use the same strategy that he uses for English in Spanish. You see, Nigel never really did well in his English classes. He didn't even attend a university or college. But what he did have was a strong photographic memory, and he could look at a block of words together and see where it goes. Oh, and plot twist, he's competed in another language before. In 2015, he became the French language Scrabble champion. This was without knowing any French prior, and he studied the word list for 9 weeks. And he won it again in 2018. So it was no surprise that he managed to dominate the competition and won the Spanish competition, even defeating the reigning champion of 18 years, Benjamin Alezola. Now, Nigel's considered a legend in the Scrabble community, with tens of thousands of people going online to analyze how he plays. It's basically if Mike Ross pursued Scrabble instead of being a lawyer.
Cum-filled cupcakes were served to children by this teacher in Louisiana. Meet Cynthia Perkins, and let me warn you, this story is incredibly disturbing. So back in 2019, investigators were tipped off about this woman, Cynthia, and her husband, Dennis. Apparently, some images had surfaced depicting the couple graping a child. And when investigators finally swept in October of 2019 and arrested the couple, what they found out was disturbing. Cynthia, who at the time of her arrest was a middle school English teacher, had allegedly gotten a sperm sample from her husband, baked that sperm into some cupcakes, and brought the cupcakes into her classroom, where she then served those baked goods to her own students. When the police raided the couple's home, they found hidden cameras in the bathrooms and in the attic, and they uncovered a lot of evidence that the couple had been producing child pornography, with a victim under the age of 13 years old. Cynthia at first was unrepentant and tried to pin this all on her husband, but shortly after they were arrested, she divorced her husband and admitted that she had, yes, taken part in this entire thing, and just last year she was sentenced to over 40 years of prison time. Now, her husband Dennis was actually a sheriff's deputy, and in a completely unrelated case, another woman was found guilty of helping Dennis grape, a woman who was completely unconscious. And yes, they filmed the attack. So these two were serial predators and offenders, and this story just goes to show that these people don't look evil. Predators come in all shapes and sizes, even teachers and cops.
Fun fact. In 2004, a secret movie theater was found in the catacombs under Paris. But when the police went to investigate, it was gone, and the only thing left was a note that said, "Do not try and find us." There's 174 miles of caves and tunnels under the city of Paris, and people have been banned from entering the catacombs without a tour guide since 1955. But while on a training exercise in the catacombs, police entered a tunnel where they noticed motion-detected security cameras began recording them, and as they went deeper, an audio recording of dogs barking began to play. And then they found an open area where a movie screen and projector were installed, as well as a fully stocked bar and a restaurant with tables and chairs. The whole area was powered by a professionally installed power cable, and it had 3 telephone lines. 3 days later, the police went back with experts from the French electricity board to see where the power was coming from, but it was all gone. And the only thing left was a note on the floor that said, "Do not try and find us." Hit the link in my bio to check out my crazy underground spaces video.
These are 8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. An average human walks past 36 murderers in their lifetime. There's future biotech technology when injected into prisoners. It makes them feel they served a 1,000-year sentence in a matter of 8 hours. The blue whale ejaculates over 40 gallons of sperm when mating. Only 10% enters the female. And you always wonder why the sea tasted salty. If you block your nose when you sneeze, you can rupture a blood vessel in your neck that can make you bleed to death. People that are left-handed die 3 years faster than people that are right-handed. Watching horror films can burn up to 200 calories. You may be living the last year of your life without being aware of it. You are always 6 minutes away from death. Breathing just resets the clock. There's a lot more, like for part 9.
Times when Gen Alpha words cause the unimaginable to happen. Firstly, schools around the world have been making lists of Gen Alpha words that are banned from being said at school, because not only do teachers' claims just straight confusing, they're also worried about it disrupting classroom atmospheres. Next, in 2024, Walmart posted an advertisement encouraging viewers to shop for back-to-school fashion, but it immediately backfired when they started using Gen Alpha words to cater to the younger audience.
No cap, you weren't French or Ohio at all.
Well, when the internet came across this, they literally turned the advertisement into a meme. I guess be careful when using Gen Alpha words.
Crazy things happening in the world right now. Spike the Chihuahua, born on November 30th, 1999, is the only dog left alive from the previous millennium. A Florida judge used a Quest 2 to experience a crime firsthand. A declassified document from the CIA says they used astral projection to visit Mars 1,000,000 years ago, back in 1984. Taylor Swift did not actually sign a guitar that a man bought for $4,000 just to destroy. A woman was left disappointed after filming what she thought was Northern Lights, when in reality was actually a tomato factory nearby. A Wisconsin man was found to have faked his own death after being found in Uzbekistan. 43 monkeys still remain on the run from a South Carolina lab. Costco was forced to recall over 80,000 pounds of butter because the label forgot to mention that it had milk. A raccoon burst through the ceiling tiles at LaGuardia Airport. A British man passed away falling off a bridge in Spain while he was creating online content.
This is what would happen if all humans fell asleep for 1 year. After just 5 seconds, all the cars on the road will begin to crash and pile up on each other. This would be a complete mess. Next, just after 1 minute, everybody will be sleeping in the most random places, like in the doctor's office or a grocery store, or just in the middle of the street. Next up, after 20 minutes, all the planes in the sky will begin to fall back down to Earth. On average, there is 9.7 thousand planes in the sky at once, carrying over 1.2 million people. So this wouldn't be good at all. Next, after 12 hours, millions of people would be dead. This is because whatever activity they were doing before they fell asleep could result in their death, like a car crash, plane crash, or just falling.
This man has a problem of snoring at night, so he sticks a sticker to his mouth. But when his wife removed the sticker, this is what happens.
"2026 is going to be crazy. Let me explain." So even though 2025 just started, many people online are saying it's just not off to a good start and they're already ready for 2026. So saying that, let's talk about how crazy 2026 will actually be. Originally, we all thought Shrek 5 was supposed to be released in 2025, but now it's pushed back to December 2026. Also in that same month, Ice Age 6 will be released. However, they're not the only movies coming out in 2026, because we also have Toy Story 5, the Mario movie 2, and Avengers Doomsday. It's a lot. Next, some huge events happening in 2026 is the 2026 World Cup and the Winter Olympics, but that's not it. Because there will be no total solar eclipse in 2025, but there will be on August 12th, 2026. However, let's still keep our hopes high for the rest of 2025.
Before TikTok gets banned in the US, I want to, for the last time, tell you the most beautiful space fact I know. If you aimed a telescope at a blank, dark patch of sky just the size of a pinhead held at arm's length and took a picture, this is what you would see. Virtually every single point of light you see is a galaxy filled with hundreds of billions of stars and trillions of planets. If you visited one of the planets hidden away in this image every single second, it would take you 50 million years to visit them all. That is 1.5 quadrillion planets, just as amazing as Earth, potentially capable of hosting an alien civilization hidden in this tiny patch of sky. If this really is the end of TikTok in the US, just go check me out here. It's more fun anyway.
The TikTok ban has literally had the opposite effect. China and America have never been closer. Duolingo has seen a 216% spike in American users learning Mandarin and a 36% increase in US downloads as everyone flocks to RedNote. And that's impressive because you know how notorious English speakers are for not learning a second language. They've also started comparing their medical bills. And you can imagine how that went down. And after he said that an ambulance in China was $50 and $10 for an appointment and painkillers, bro somehow signs off with Luigi.
At the end, salute to Luigi and wish the best to you all.
Americans have also been asking if the social credit score is a real thing there, if China actually has a video game time limit ban, and if Temu was just a bunch of children that needed saving. You've got people on this app now pledging their allegiance to communist China. RedNote is literally what the US government feared TikTok would become, and they created this.
She was killed by her own people. This is what happened to 30-year-old Anna Mae Aquash. Anna Mae was born on March 27, 1945, and was born into the Mikwok First Nation. Anna Mae was a part of the American Indian movement, and she was just extremely passionate about human rights and the preservation of tribal communities. She was a mother of two, so she was fighting for her children's safety and future. Throughout her time with the American Indian movement, she was arrested on federal weapons-related charges, but she was quickly released. She was arrested for a second time in November of 1975. However, she was released just 10 days later on November 25th. Due to how quickly she was released, some members of the American Indian movement started to believe that maybe she was working as an informant for the FBI, and that's why she was released so quickly. The last time anyone saw Anna Mae was in the middle of December, and then just 2 months later on February 24th, 1976, a farmer in South Dakota stumbled upon a frozen, badly decomposed body. His farm was located along the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, and this corpse was wearing blue jeans, a maroon jacket, and they were laying with their knees pushed up all the way to their chest. Police were called to the scene, and a coroner determined that this was a woman, and that they had been dead for more than 2 months. Due to the condition of the body, it took a little bit over a week for police to identify this corpse as 30-year-old Anna Mae Aquash. Initially, they believed that she died of exposure, that she froze to death. They buried her, and that was that. When her family and friends heard the news about her death, they were just completely shocked. They were trying to figure out what had happened since the last time she was seen in December to when her body was found in February. I mean, what happened in those 2 months? They just had a gut feeling that something more had happened. They requested a second autopsy. They exhumed her body, and this new autopsy revealed that Anna Mae had a gunshot wound to the back of her head. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't the consequence of exposure. Anna Mae was murdered. Her friends and family initially believed that maybe the FBI had done this to silence her. However, it was later revealed that no, the FBI didn't do this. Instead, she was kidnapped, R-worded, and unalived on December 12, 1975 by 3 members of the American Indian movement. Her family just couldn't believe that she was betrayed by those she trusted and by people she believed had her back. As of today, someone has been convicted for the murder of Anna Mae and has been sentenced to life in prison, but were more people involved? Her family believes that maybe higher level officials at the American Indian movement could have ordered her death because they truly believed that she was an FBI informant. It's been nearly 30 years since Anna Mae, a mother, a sister, a beloved friend, a human being, was killed. To hear more about what happened to Anna Mae, make sure to watch Vow of Silence on Hulu to uncover the truth, and let me know what you guys think about this down below.